too, because people were messaging me as well.
Yeah. But we're live. We are on, and maybe uh Charles gonna be a little late,
Good
but
morning,
that's
Chi
all.
Chi Sam.
I know for real. Look who decided to show up.
I
I'm just messing with you.
It's
Ah,
been a while, guys. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. It's starting to be the end of 2024, Chia. My goodness.
I know it's coming by quick. It's coming
I
by
mean,
super quick. So let me just do something real quick. It's Friday. Weekend came by so fast. This week went by so fast.
every week goes by so fast.
Every week. So Nally's been home for like a few months now, right? Because she quit her job and now she's just a full-time stager.
Yeah.
And and she's like, how do you find things to do? Like I don't know what to do. I'm so used to clocking in and all that, and now it's like I can't even do. I don't even know what to do. It's like,
She's a busybody. She likes to work hard. You
yes,
guys
she
all
is.
do. It's
She,
pretty amazing. She's gonna feel like that for a few more months, and then she'll find something. Knowing her, she's probably gonna take more clients on the staging side.
yeah, that's what she's been doing. But right now, it's starting to be the slower season for all of us, right, in this industry. So
Well, this year
it,
in particular, this year definitely in particular.
oh yeah, my gosh,
Yeah,
it's it's interesting, right? How
it
it's
is really,
slowed
really interesting.
down like so much.
Well, it's not just that, right? Elections coming up,
hmm
um,
This
and
year is
people,
definitely a different, unique year. Yeah,
oh yeah, people are getting really nervous and everything like that, and it's like the ants are being shooken up, right? People are attacking
yeah,
each other because of the heated emotions that comes with it and everything. So I just hope and pray that we all come out of here, whomever the candidate is and whatnot. We remember humanity is still here. We are also responsible for our own community, right? And to continue to uplift one another.
yeah. I know. Let's just let's just not let this political thing divide us.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no.
Job reports are coming out tomorrow. To me, not that it makes a huge difference. It does, as far as interest rates and everything like that. But as far as the economy wise, I think it's very, very inflated. There's a lot of entry level jobs, a lot of minimum wage jobs out there, but there's a lot of middle class people that are still very, very struggling with trying to find work.
Yeah. So I know so many people that just got laid off because they lost contracts or they're slow and they're just getting rid of a lot of their, yeah, it's brutal out there
Admin,
right now. Hmm
yeah, I mean, we talked about this 2 years ago already. I mean, we already saw all the writing on the wall, right? Yeah, admin, HR, finance, even engineers. I have quite a few engineer graduates who haven't found a job in 2 years. So
Yeah, it's
look,
unfortunate.
it is, and with the rates being the way that it is still, it makes it harder for first time buyers to come into this market.
Yeah. And it's not even that too. Today, we're gonna be talking about give donors.
Yeah,
Even that, right? Like people are being forced to go into friends and family for gifts and all that, or maybe some people just don't like putting money in the bank because they don't trust the banking system, and then they have nothing but cash, and so now they want to buy a home and they can't wait for the few months to go by to source and season that cash. So Now they gotta run around their friends and family list to see who has that cash to give them, right?
Right.
Um, as a gift. So yeah, we'll talk more about that later, but let's talk about the market update this week so far, rates, inventory, everything, all that jazz first, and then we'll get into today's topic and then go from there. Let me just share my screen real quick. Okay, here is inventory. Inventory is up from last week, zero point 0.3. New listings are down 4%. Sold homes are down 4%. Pending homes are down as well, 1%. From last month, inventory is up by zero point 0.9. New listings are down 0.5. Sold homes are up just a tiny tab. And pending homes are up just a tiny tab. From last year, same time last year, same month, we have more inventory this year by 43%. New listings are up 26%. Sold homes are also up 10%. Pending homes are up 31%. Year to date, 43% more inventory this year, 20% more new listings this year, 4.6% more sold homes this year, and pending homes is up 7.8% this year versus last year. So everything is up. It's everything is heading in the up direction compared to last year. It's funny, right? How you and me are just talking about how it feels so slow.
It is, right? Because we're comparing it to the quarter that just passed for us,
Yep,
right? The
we
quarter
are.
before. And we are very, very blessed, Chia, that we have trusted clients that continue to send us business and whatnot. But overall, when you look at the 1,800 number and everything, and the amount of agents that are in just our area, it just does not correlate either.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely a lot happening right now in this economy. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see how next week's gonna go.
yeah.
Yeah, after Tuesday.
Oh, definitely.
Average price per square foot is up zero point 0.6 from last week. Last month it is up almost 2%. Same time last year it is up 2.4, and year to date it's up 3.3 price per square foot. That's for all your investors out there. Okay, average days on the market is 36 days this week. Last week it was 41 days. 99% of sellers are getting what they're asking for. This month, average days on the market is 35 days. Last month it was 29 days. So again, a few days here isn't gonna really drastically change the market direction. You guys hear me say it all the time. Um, but yeah, homes are staying on the market a little bit longer. Okay, sellers. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
comparing this time to last year, see, last year it was 24 days on average that home went off the market.
Right.
35 days this year. Year to date, though, on average for this whole year, on average, it's been 29 days. See, so homes are going by still fairly quickly. If you look at
Correct.
that, last year it was 31. So it's still pretty hot. It's still pretty hot out there. You guys saw the inventory, everything's going up on the upward trend, and homes are still going. Now, active price went up almost 1% from last week. Sold price on average went down 2% from last week. And last month, ooh, this is interesting now. Active price is up zero point 0.4 from last month. Average sold price is down 1.5%. Look here, it's finally going down from last year. Active price is down 2% from last year. Average sold price is down just a tiny tab from last year, zero point 0.3. Interesting, interesting. This time of the year. And year to date, active price is up this year on average 2.1% from last year. I mean, it's down. I'm sorry, it's down. Active price. But look, sold on average, it's up 4.1%. This is the whole year so far on average combined, right?
Yeah,
And this year, look, it's still higher than last year by 4%. But if you're comparing exactly the month, we are down from last month by a
yeah.
tiny tab, a tiny tab. Interesting, interesting.
So
Maybe,
this time last year, rates were in the 7.5. Towards the end of November, it started to get up almost up to 8%. This
was
year,
that?
yeah, yeah, because I have people from last year already in the pipeline getting ready to refinance and things like that too. But it's hard to remember all that all the time just because we
I
see
know.
things up and down and up and down so often and whatnot. It's interesting. It's really going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the next 3 months to especially after next week, because I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are nervous. These
Totally.
numbers are correlating and the low sold sales. I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, it's it's gonna be interesting to see.
The next 3 months, I
Very.
think, is going to be very, very trying. Everybody's going to either try to hold off. You mentioned earlier, not everybody wants to put in the banking system and whatnot. Just so that you know, during the war in Vietnam and everything like that, the government seized everything, all assets in the accounts. So you see, many Asian people are worried about that just because this year's election is so polarizing.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case.
Let's hope not. We are a big, big nation.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like I'm not gonna jinx anything. I'm just gonna keep my thoughts to myself. Okay.
right.
But months worth of inventory, there's no change from last month. 2 months worth. So no change. But from last year, we already know we have more inventory this year than last year. 32% more. 34% year to date, more inventory on average this year than last year. But again, I'm getting you guys asking me, it's not a seller's market no more, right? Shit, because there's more inventory. Um, it's still a seller's market because
Right.
remember what I said. It needs to be at least 3 to 4 months worth for like at least pretty consistently. And look, it's not really consistent. If you
Yeah,
look over the last couple of months, it's in the under 2 months worth, like 1.6, 1.8, and then yeah, we're in the two now, but we're nowhere near 3 months, 4 months, 5 months worth of inventory consistently. So this is not gonna have any drastic change in price or demand, because when it does, trust me, you guys are gonna hear it here. I'm gonna tell you guys, like, hey, demand is getting down there. Like, you guys are gonna hear me say it because inventory is gonna be all the way up here. So, I mean, if you look at the chart, numbers don't lie. These are not my numbers that I made up. These are actual numbers from sales, data collected, like hundreds of thousands of data being collected on a daily. So, yeah, that's that. Let's look at the market for mortgages, huh? Let's do that. All right. Man, it went up.
mm-hmm.
It went up. Mortgage rates went up.
Yep. And job reports tomorrow. Or actually today. I'm sorry, it's Friday already.
Today's
Good grief.
Friday. Yeah, it's today.
Yeah, reports are going to come out later today. Let's see what's going to happen on that. Again, I absolutely advise, if the monthly payments, if you already priced it out and the monthly payments make sense for you, don't gamble. Just go ahead and lock in the rates.
Yeah. This is so interesting. But, I will say this to a lot of first-time home buyers. Don't be too focused on rates
Yeah,
because a lot of you guys are qualified to buy a home right now, but you guys are really, really fixed on the rates being like this. because you guys are conditioned to seeing really, really lower rates. So you guys see this rate right now, you guys are like traumatized from it. But
Right,
don't shoot yourself in the foot because like I always tell my clients, you're buying at today's price, right? You're buying at today's price. If you're waiting for the rates to go down, that price is most likely going to go up. So you're going to be buying at that price and then some because then everybody is thinking that way. So now there's a bidding war. So now that home that you saw at 500K is probably going to get bid up 530, 550, like what we saw during Rona years. And then now you're buying that same house today with that price point, you know? So just remember that there's always gonna be a lot of like aftermath effects with rates being up or down, you know? So the pros of buying in today's numbers is yeah, the rates are a little bit higher, but you're buying at a lower price for the same home. And if the rates did come down, maybe in 6 months, a year or so, you could always refinance. But then at least you locked in the price for today. And because you waited, you've been paying down that principal balance. So then when you refi, just refi based off of your loan amount. Don't refi based off of how much your home is worth during that time, you know? So if you do that, then for sure your monthly payment is going to be more affordable for you then, and you're going to get the house that you want and the rate that you want, you know?
right.
So just remember that.
Also, Chia, since you mentioned refinance, I do have quite a few people that were looking at refinancing in September when we are kind of monitoring the rates to see if it would go even lower to make it make sense for my people and everything like that, right? Guys, please understand that even with the refinance, it's pretty much the same qualification as when you get a purchase. Your debt to income ratio, if you've accrued a lot of debt, if you stop doing overtime, anything like that, it's going to affect
Yeah.
whether or not you can even refinance. So please keep your credit well. If you find yourself in a tough situation, come to your loan officer first. Think of the strategy before you do all of that and before, because when you think ahead, you're going to have a lot more options, and when you leave it to the last minute, you might have to look at a couple of other things. Right now, debt consolidation, debt relief programs, bankruptcy, it's on an all-time high right now. And sometimes when you look at the cost of refinance, and not just the cost, remember, like, your house is a secured debt versus if you did the other stuff with all of your other credit cards, if those are accruing a lot, you may want to consider those other options first, because those debts can be forgiven in those types of situations where if you're taking secure debt, because I know a lot of times loan officers will advertise, hey, let's do some debt consolidation, take out your refinance and pay off all your credit cards and things like that. Here's the thing, you're putting a 30-year loan on all that credit card debt. It may or may not be worth it for you. Okay, so make sure you take a look at the whole entire spectrum, the whole entire situation, and do the math calculated by the loan years too, not just the monthly payment that could help you on that on the short term.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
I say that because right now times are really, really trying, and people are getting more and more desperate and whatnot. So, if you already feel like, hey, I feel a little bit stressed out, if you feel a little bit stressed out, really reevaluate your financial situation before you get really super stressed out.
Yeah. And I think that leads into our next topic, you know, like I've been getting a lot of people asking me about, you know, like, hey, Chia, I got money, you know, but I don't really trust the banking system. So I just wanna I do want to buy a home though, but my lender that I'm going through is currently telling me that money that I have can't be used because it's not sourced, it's not seasoned, it's cash. It hasn't been in my bank account at all. So how do I buy a home now? I got all this money saved up. And we're going to talk about that today. So if you guys have questions about that, put it in the comment section, anything like that. But we're going to kind of talk about just general questions that we get regarding that, and of course, so that way you guys understand how gift donors work. Okay. So did you want to go into that, Lisa?
Absolutely. More than happy to, you guys. So when we're talking about a sourcing, what does that really actually mean, right? And it really means that anytime you're trying to borrow money from the bank, because it is a banking system, it is their fiduciary responsibility to make sure there's no money laundering activities, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, those types of activities. And when you're getting a home, a lot of times, if you're putting funds that are quote unquote unsourceable, what that means is there's no paper trail for it. There's no way we can prove that it was cash or mattress money or anything of that sort. And usually the rule of thumb is if it's more than 25% of whatever your income is. So say for instance, if your paycheck is typically $5,000 a month or something like that, right? And you're putting in $5,000 worth of cash. Where is that cash coming from? Okay, that's 100% of your income. They're going to ask you for all of that. And if you have a gift from a family member, who's to say that that's actually not a loan that your family member is giving to you? So yes, there's going to be a gift letter that's needed. Okay, the best way to source these types of gifts, okay, or if you have cash, definitely you need to leave that in there for at least 2 months. And really, it's probably about 2 to 3 months. And I say that it's because a lot of times people put it in right away. So say for instance, some bank statements will start from the first to the end of the month, the 30th, right? And some bank statements will start on the 15th or whatever other day that you open your bank account. So say for instance, if your bank statement starts from the 15th, ends from the 15th, and let's use last month as an example. So if you were to put your money in your bank account on October 16th, but your October statement ends on the 15th, then realistically, your November bank statement is going to show up. Okay, that money that you put in on the 16th of October is going to show up on November bank statements. So therefore now you have to wait until December and January. That's where I got the 2 months. Does that mean that you can't look for a house until another 2, 3 months? Not necessarily, because the escrow period is also 30 days. So that gives you a little bit, by the time you close your loan, as long as you have 2 bank statements, then you're good to go. Okay. Now, if, say, for instance, your gift donor decides that, hey, I'm just going to send you the money, it's apparent and whatnot, and you didn't know that. Again, it has to be sourced. And the sad thing is, especially for FHA loans, okay, they did change the rule a bit where gift donors don't have to be sourced anymore. Not all lenders abide by that just yet on
Mm.
government loans. Okay, so we're going to default to the original guideline on a government loan. Gift donors' funds always have to be sourced, and it only needs to be sourced 1 month. Sometimes it may seem a little bit intrusive. So ask your gift donors first, hey, just so that you know, my bank wants to make sure that the funds are in your account, because they want to make sure that your gift donor, your mom, didn't borrow it from her brother to give you that money. That's basically what it is. They just want to make sure that that gift is really not a loan elsewhere, because now you have a loan on that, and plus you're trying to get a loan on the mortgage. I hope that makes sense.
So if that's the case, let's say the mom did borrow money from the son to put in the bank so that the mom can give to you. Does the brother now also need to provide bank statements as well?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So
So
the
now it
trail.
becomes a trickle effect. It's like a domino effect.
Yes, and sometimes gifts is a cultural thing, okay? In my culture, okay, we're Vietnamese. $1 million, $500,000, that's actually normal for gift funds. That's actually normal for people to have that much cash just laying around and things like that too. I just had a situation. We just closed one last month. We barely made the situation where all of her money was in Vietnam. And we're talking about $500,000 here, okay? And because the financial institution in Vietnam is very, very strict. She was only able to transfer $86,600 at a time at an account. So there were so many multiple transactions, with 6 transactions like that. And when we got the bank statements, it was all in Vietnamese. So we had to translate that. And on top of that, it was from a sibling that owed her money and paid her back, but there was no loan documents. So it was a hot mess, you guys. Okay. But luckily, we did have enough time to source it out and everything like that. But now that we know, she knows all of that stuff, I was joking around with her. I was like, okay, you can be a loan officer now too, because this is pretty much the hardest part about getting a loan. For everything else was really, really super easy. So understand those nuances so that you know that, hey, going in, it's really only 2 months, guys. Okay, it's only 2 months, and you're pretty much good to go.
And I pretty much tell clients that are going through that is, hey, if you haven't started sourcing yet, let's start looking at homes because it might take you a while to find the home that you love anyways. But while we're looking, just keep putting money into your account if you don't have a gift donor to do that for you so that it could be sourced and seasoned. So we're just going to look at homes, and by the time you know it, 2 months go by so fast, and then you're already done with that. So you just never know. Worst case scenario, you don't have a gift donor. You could always do that. And
Yeah,
then what about if they found a home, Lisa, like in month one, and they extended escrow until it gets the 2 month mark. So
absolutely.
we've done that before, right? To
We have.
where that works too. So there's a lot of ways you could tackle this, if you don't have the resources like some people do with a gift donor, and you need to season your cash, just you could always do that. Find a home during the month, a period of looking at homes with your agent, and then put it into escrow and put a little bit longer escrow instead of the regular 21 or 30 days. Maybe do 45 days. So that way it exceeds that 2 months worth, and now your funds are seasoned. It's been 2 months.
Absolutely. Yep. And the other thing is too, some people tell me they're afraid to put that much money into the bank account because, the bank is going to flag them and all sorts of stuff. Look, the bank is only going to flag you if you do fraudulent activities. And they're going to ask you to sign a document that says, hey, is this fraudulent money? And if it's not, then mark no. That's really what it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. What about the amount? Is there like a limit to how much a gift donor can gift you
No,
as a buyer?
there's no amount at all.
They could pay
Uh,
for a down payment and closing costs, everything.
Everything. It depends on the loan too, though. Okay, Chia, because there's certain what we call non-QM loans. So, say for instance, for one of our DSCR loans that have the lowest interest rate, okay, they require that at least 10% of the funds is actually from the buyer. Just 10%. Everything else can be from the gift donor. Okay,
Can
so
you
there's
explain what a DSCR loan is? Some people don't know what that
no.
is.
So basically, it's for investors, which is a great type of loan. So, say for instance, if you purchase a home, you are required to put at least a minimum of 20% down. 25 and above will give you a better interest rate. Okay, so basically, if the monthly payment, okay, you don't have to have any income, by the way. Okay, this is the beauty of a DSCR loan. It's for investors. It doesn't look at your credit. I'm sorry, it doesn't look at your income. It does look at your credit, but it doesn't look at your income. And the income that they're going to use is the income that's projected for the rent for that house. So, say for instance, if you buy a 450,000 home and you're putting down 30%, I'm using the example from my last client, okay, then your monthly payment is about $2,600. If the appraisal comes back and the possible rent that you can get from this house is $2,600, it's good, you're qualified.
100%.
Hmm.
So it needs to be 100%
Correct.
to cover the whole mortgage in order for you to qualify, or what's the percentage?
So it has to cover the mortgage, the property tax, HOA, if there's HOA, basically the full PITI, okay?
What
Payment,
if
interest.
what if it's short? How short can it be?
So it can't be short. I mean, it
Oh, it
can,
needs
but the interest rate is significantly higher and it doesn't make any sense, especially if you're an investor. You do not want to be upside down for that. So basically, you would put more down. So if
yeah,
30%
okay,
doesn't
okay,
work,
got it.
35%, okay? So it's very doable in that sense,
Got it. Okay.
okay?
And now you you said that it depends on the type of loans for gift, right? So we mentioned DSCR loan. FHA conventional
100%.
limits,
Yeah, 100%. You can gift 100%.
down payment assistance.
Down payment assistance, yes, you can also get 100% gift as well.
What about if they wanted to buy down rates? Because that's what a lot of buyers are doing today too, buying down rates.
Anything that the buyer has, because even if you're buying down the rate, it's considered closing cost. You can
Got it.
absolutely do 100% gift with that too.
You guys heard it. If you guys have a lot of moolah, but it's not seasoned, but you guys know people that have money in their bank that could be a gift donor to you, then like utilize it. Just because your money's not seasoned, doesn't mean it's the end all be all. There's talk to someone that's gonna be willing to share with you some strategies to make it work. It may take a little bit of time, not right away, but at least you have options instead of just being feeling like you're at a dead end, because some people do get discouraged, they got all this cash saved up and then they hear, oh, it needs to be seasoned for a couple months, and they're like, oh man, they get really bummed out, and you don't need to be. There's ways of working around it. You just need to speak to a loan specialist so that way they can walk you through that process.
Right.
Um, and anybody can gift you, right? You can't. It doesn't need to be just family.
So it does have to be family, Tia. Okay, for FHA,
Mm,
it does have to be family. For conventional, it's a little bit more lenient on that. But sometimes if they scrutinize it, if they suspect any fraudulent activity, which I don't see why they would, okay, unless you've been red flagged before.
what's considered family though? Like you and me, we're family, right?
Right? How do I answer this, right, Tia?
Because you know how there's always gonna be people that's gonna play with a gray area, right?
A friend, or do I answer this as as a sister, right? It's gonna be up to debate. But realistically, on the technical side, yes, it is blood related family, or blood related family married into the family. So brother-in-law, sister-in-law, that
Got it.
can't help.
Yeah, because people, I already know you guys. Some of you guys are gonna
Hmm.
say, "Oh, that's my family right there. I call them
Yeah.
brother. I call them sister." So
Fiance is fine. Okay, fiance is fine. Significant other is not. Just so that you guys know.
wait, fiance is fine. Significant other is not.
Boyfriend, girlfriend will not be considered as family. It's most lenders will not take it that way, just so that you guys know.
Okay, interesting. What about
Mm.
taxes? Like, how does the gift affect taxes?
So that's something that they're going to have to talk to their CPA about. There is
For
a
sure.
cap, and usually it's $1 million for a lifetime. I forget what was for a annual basis and whatnot, but yeah, definitely check with your tax accountant. You can probably push it later too, because again, in a lifetime, it's $1 million, so your CPA can probably structure it better.
All right. Anything else that we're missing out for a gift?
So for gifts, just so that you guys know, typically investment homes, if you're buying an investment loan and you're not using that DSCR one, it is not allowed for gift at all.
Eh, Say that again.
So if you're buying an investment home, you're not allowed to use a gift fund at all.
It has to be a
Only
primary.
correct. And this is the
Meaning
reason why.
living in it.
Yeah, this is the reason why the DSCR can be very attractive. The interest rate is a little bit higher. Okay, I just closed one last month at 6.5%, which is a wonderful thing. It was just right before the rate change for them. It's actually at 8.5 right now. So,
Wow.
it is a little bit higher. Okay, but it allows you to have gift funds. You only have to have 10% of your own. So sometimes you got to mix and match and see what the situation is, and then go ahead and refinance it later. But don't be dependent on refinance, is what I'm telling you guys. As long as the monthly payment, especially if you are an investor, it's not about putting less down. It's really about making sure that, hey, in a really, really tough economy, that whatever you're asking for rent, it's very easy to get renters for that amount. So if you put less down and your rent is $3,000, but that rent for that area and everything like that is only about 2,500. You're competing with all the other houses that's going to be put up on rent and everything, and that might put you in a hole. And if you're also in a predicament and you're also having to put in cash for your rental property, that might put you in a tougher situation than if you didn't buy the investment property to begin with.
Question about the rent income and qualifying for
Mhm.
the DSCR loan, since we're talking about DSCR.
Mhm.
What if can they base the rent based off of short-term income, short-term rental, like
No,
Airbnb? It
no.
has to be long-term.
Yeah, because it's so inconsistent, right? There's no way. The Airbnb is fine. If you ever do the Airbnb, that's great. Make sure you guys have an LLC. And this is the reason why. It's because if you have a short-term rental, you get to write off whatever taxes for maintenance, for um, stuff that you're buying, shampoo, things like that for your Airbnb, and pillows and things like that. You can write all of that up. But if you do it as a regular rental, you won't be able to write those things up off. Does that make sense?
No, say it again.
Okay. So if you're running an Airbnb, it's like a business, right? So for me, for instance, I had shampoo. I made it like it's a hotel. I switched it out. Towels. I had to buy bedding, and I changed that out because it gets dirty and things like that. Pillowcases. So all of that inventory and stuff like that. Things for a short-term rental. If you're doing it that way, you can write off in your LLC because it's a business expense. But if you're doing it as just a regular Schedule E type of rental on your tax returns, it doesn't have that slot that you can actually write those things off. So it's in your best interest to have that LLC, okay? But as far as calculating it to get you that loan, no, unfortunately, unless you've had that income for 2 years, which you didn't buy the house yet, we wouldn't be able to calculate that in. Okay.
Mm,
Now, if you already have multiple short-term rental properties, okay, and they are earning you income because the LLC that you set up to manage the other 5 properties that you possibly have, and there is enough income in that LLC, then absolutely you could use that income for existing properties that you have to put it as income to qualify you for the next house.
got it.
Okay.
Good to know. Going back to gift donors.
Yeah.
What if you have a co-signer?
Okay. You can definitely have a cosigner and have a gift donor. That's totally fine.
Okay. And
Yep.
what if the co-signer is the one that's coming in with all the money?
So that's not considered a gift. So here's the weird thing. That's a good question that you actually asked, Chia. So a lot of times, people, let's just say, for instance, there's 2 people on that want to go on this house, but only one of them qualifies for the loan, but the other one is the one that has the money in the bank account. Okay, FHA will require that the person that actually has the money, even though they're going to be on the house, also be the gift donor as well. So you just need to sign
Oh,
a gift letter and provide the bank statement, and you're good.
what does the gift letter has to say again?
The gift letter is a template that we provide. So all you need to do is to fill it out and basically just say, I, Mr. A, um, gift my brother, Mr. B, on this house, ABC Main Street, of $50,000 for the purchase at the close of his escrow or whatever date that they transfer the money on. Okay.
Got it.
And then you just fill out the gift donor's account number and everything. And this is where people can get a little bit defensive because it is intrusive for the gift donor, right? And sometimes they don't feel comfortable. And sometimes
Yeah.
I just tell them, it's like, hey, ask your gift donor to call me and I'll be more than happy to explain this to them. I've done this quite a few times. I completely understand that
Especially
situation.
in our Asian community.
Absolutely, when everybody's wants to keep everything very private, right? So basically, again, this is to monitor fraud, okay? And they want to make sure that the money from the gift donor, if once that money from the gift donor is transferred over to escrow, whatever their bank account that they say on that letter has to match with that wire on that gift letter. Okay?
So now let's say all that's done. They found a home, the gift donor gets verified and seasoned, it's all good. They're in escrow now. The deposit. Can the deposit come from the gift donor as well? Because
Yes, the
all
earnest money deposit can come from the gift letter as well. However, okay, as here's the thing. If let's just say, for instance, the earnest money deposit is $3,000, right? And the gift donor is going to gift a total of $20,000. So you actually have to have two gift letters, one for 3,000 because it has to be filled out with the date that they actually put in escrow, and then the second
mm,
one for the 17,000 for the remainder that they're going to send into the close of escrow. It's very particular in that way. So it's very
wow.
doable. It's not that difficult. The document that you're going to fill out as a gift donor is exactly the same. It just changes the date and the amount of how much you're sending into the buyer.
Okay. Can the gift donor pay for home inspections and appraisals?
Yes, they totally can.
But they need more gift letters now too, right?
Actually, don't. For
No?
inspection, yeah, because the lender doesn't require you to have an inspection, and for their appraisal and everything like that, they pay that upfront. So anything that's paid upfront, you don't have to have a gift letter for that if it's coming out directly from the gift donor. They can
I
come from
just had
anybody.
a okay. I just had a question and I totally lost it. Gosh, comes with old age, huh? For reals. Oh my God, I just had a
No,
question.
it comes from a lot. You're having a lot of clients that probably asked you this before, and you're
Yeah,
like, okay, what did that person ask
all
me about the
coming back to me. All these years, all coming
yeah,
back to me.
right? It's cutting
Yeah.
pieces and stuff like that. And you're telling me, I was like, oh yeah, we've been through all of this.
Okay. What did we talk about before that? Okay, so we mentioned inspections, we mentioned the deposit.
Appraisal.
So we
Deposit,
mentioned
appraisal.
appraisal. So when they're going through the process, they're able to pay for the deposit and all of that. Now, gosh, I'm having such a bad brain for it right now, dude. That's so bad. I
It's
like
okay. It's a day after Halloween, for goodness sakes. You probably stayed up
that's
so late
true.
for the other one.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm still sugar high. I stole all my baby's candy. He was not happy, but
Okay. That's what parents are supposed to do.
I'm just monitoring the safety of my child's candy to make sure it's legit, you know?
How was your neighborhood, by the way? Was there a lot of trick-or-treaters this year?
Oh my gosh. So we went to this one area in North Natomas. Oh my God, they blocked everything. I felt like that area is not even meant for trick or treating. It's meant more for kids to go and chill and hang out. But while you're there, the whole street just decorates their house fully decked out.
So it's like a huge block party.
It was like a block party.
That is kind of cool, yeah.
It was really cool if I was probably like 18 years younger, you know? But then with having kids, you're thinking, man, nobody better
Safe.
snatch my kid's bag of candies,
Yeah.
or I better not get pickpocket, or you know what I mean? Like things like that. Because people, there was just a lot going on. People were drinking, doing stuff in the front porch, and there was just a bunch of high schoolers running back and forth. So it was pretty intense, you know, and that was my first time experiencing that. We're like, what the heck is this? So,
Well, it's nice to
yeah.
see that people are still having faith in humanity enough to even have those types of block parties too. That's
Oh,
actually quite
yeah. Oh yeah, I think it was really, really organized because when they blocked the street of that block, like there was actual neighbors that lived in that street that was parked in their cars and just kind of regulating, you know, to make sure people don't go by or do anything stupid. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there was even security. Like I was like, it's not even a cop, it's like a higher security. I'm like, wow, that's pretty organized. So
that's pretty smart.
they've probably been doing it for many years now. We just found out about it.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
cool
but
though.
it was pretty legit. It was pretty nice.
And well, I'm sure your kids had a great time.
Oh my God, they did. But that block party, my son was just like, "Dad, what the heck we doing here? There's no candy." You know what I mean? And so yeah, we just kind of got out. We kind of walked through it and then got out because it was just we were literally like shoulder to shoulder with people.
Wow, the whole
Like
entire
imagine
street.
the whole street just block shoulder to shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Then
was
this is probably something that they've been doing for quite
maybe
some time, and they're known for
yeah.
it then.
Yeah, most likely, most likely.
Might wanna go back, during Christmas time, maybe they have that too.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, that's around the corner too. Gosh, holidays upon us.
Yeah, Thanksgiving
Everybody's
cakes.
Thanksgiving's right there,
Yeah,
Black
Thanksgiving is
Friday.
yeah, Thanksgiving is on the last week of November this year.
hmm And then we have New Year's, Christmas, a lot of things coming up. And man, I gotta go to Fresno this month because my uncle just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Gia.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy how it happened. I'll share that with you another day. But yeah. Um, I know it's so crazy. This morning I woke up and I got a text from this client. I was texting her just checking in because I haven't heard from her for a while, and she was like she texted me super early this morning saying she's so sorry, but her her in-law just passed away or something like that, and so she's been running around, and I'm like, oh my God, that's yeah. So it's just crazy year.
Death and taxes, you can't get away from that.
No, it's
I mean, we
not.
just had a situation as well, and it just reminds us to just appreciate life as it is right now, as stressful as things are. Everyone, I hope that you can find a silver lining anywhere. For us, for the housing market and whatnot. Chia just shares with you all the data and everything like that. Don't be nervous about that. As long as the numbers make sense for you, that is the silver lining right there. Do it now. Otherwise, I mean, even this year, there's so many people that came to me. I was like, I was looking like 2, 3 years ago. I should have bought then. And I was like, yeah, but don't spend the next 10 years stressing about what you should have and could have done the last 10 years, guys. The best time to start is right now. And as long as you watch what your monthly payments are and everything like that, you're going to be fine. This is a long-term investment for you guys anyway. Get into the game before it gets even harder. um, I don't know what's going to happen with the inventory this coming year is going to be a really, really interesting time. I think there's going to be a lot of people just because, again, I think a lot of the job reports are um, not accurately recorded. And I think a lot of people will be forced to sell even if they don't want to sell.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people right now and already seeing that happening, sellers.
Yeah, yeah,
And some of them are really proactive and they're getting on it right now before it gets too bad. For their situation, right? Not regarding the market, but their situation of possibly losing more contracts, losing jobs, or pay time getting cut, benefits, things like that. So they're taking advantage of that now and they're getting rid of their biggest bill, which is most likely the mortgage, right? Because taxes,
right,
like the other day, I was reading on Facebook timeline, somebody was like, man, my insurance went up 3x. What the heck? Because people are getting that 6 months evaluation on their insurance right now, and they're seeing the effect of what's going on.
right.
So that's kind of been on a lot of people's radar. And
Yeah,
then you hear about the two presidential campaignings that are going on and how both of them have different opinions about the tax and all that makes you think a lot more now about, man, do I want to buy? Do I want to keep owning? Like all of those questions are running through people's heads right now of, can I afford to take money out from my savings to keep paying for this to make ends meet? Or should I just
mhm,
let it all go? So those are real questions right now that people are going through their heads because it's happening, you
yeah,
know. Or they bought during a good time, like what Lisa mentioned a few weeks back. They bought during a time when everything was high and everything was like pay was high, everything was great, right? And they could afford that mortgage stretching out their DTI, but then like during that time, inflation and insurance wasn't at the rate it is today. So then
Right.
now they're really stretching their DTI during that time. It's finally coming back to bite them in the butt.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of times, especially with down payment assistance programs and with first time buyers who maximize their debt to income ratio to the very beginning. Okay. And this is the reason why I like to do the savings plans for everyone so that you can see, okay, this is how much wiggle room you have on a monthly basis. Okay. And in the event that anything goes up or anything like that, at least you're going to be prepared for that. I already have, people who just bought last year, and because the escrow changed, because they bought a brand new bill and everything like that, it goes up a lot faster. Okay. Um, all of that kind of hit in, especially if you're in an area that has high flood risk or has high fire hazard risks and whatnot. Okay. It wasn't before, but now anything in those areas, if you're in an area that has a lot of trees, if you're up in the hills, things like that, it's going to affect you a lot more. And if there's no cushion for that and your income hasn't changed to match what the insurance has changed, then that's where people are finding themselves in a tougher time.
Yep, it's gonna be very interesting to see how next Tuesday is gonna affect everything. So yeah, that's only a few days away. So if you guys have not voted yet, go and vote because I know I need to do that too. Read, read the policy changes of who your leaders are that you're gonna be voting for and all that, like propositions and all that. Educate yourself before like voting because I think the worst thing to do is to vote for something you don't know and understand. That like blind voting is probably one of the worst. Don't pay attention to the media. The media, depending on who's backing that media and paying for the funding of that media, is gonna, make the other person look bad, of course, So educate yourself. You owe it to yourself before
And
voting for
and really
anything.
remember, guys, remember anything that you vote yes to, which is absolutely in your right, and certain things are very absolutely needed. But keep in mind, okay, those are where your tax dollars, every time you say yes, you're saying, yes, I agree to pay for this service. Okay, it's coming out from our paychecks.
Hmm.
And if it continues to be like that, okay, a lot of times if they have to increase the taxes to cover whatever we already voted for, whatever's already in place, plus whatever that is going to be included in this upcoming next election. Again, there's some things that are absolutely needed, but like Chia said, really read the whole thing in a whole. I know it's long, I know it's lengthy. We all vote, so we understand, but really, really take that time because it's all right, really, to do that.
Yeah, but I think that's it for today. We're gonna cut it short today. Hopefully you guys learned something about gift donating. If you guys are in that situation, or if you guys are still confused about the whole thing, because it can be overwhelming. If and confusing because there's a lot of information going back and forth. What you can and can't do, just reach out to Lisa and social media or whatever, and then just pick her brain and ask her your question because I know everybody's situation is a little bit different and unique. So do that. That's the best way to really clarify something up. Is to really speak to somebody that's in the field, in the trenches, doing it all the time, because they're gonna know how to educate you about it. So that way it's more clear. Instead of you second guessing everything and researching everything on your own, because even after researching, you get more overwhelmed. So
Yeah,
just
there's a lot of misleading information out there too, guys, and that's the thing. My consultations are absolutely complimentary. It is my fiduciary responsibility to keep all of your information private. If you come to me and your spouse comes to me and asks me what you and I talk about, I can't even say that. Okay, so please know that the sooner So the sooner you tackle whatever the situation that you are in, the more options that you guys will have.
Yep. And with that, we are gonna let you guys go and enjoy the remaining Friday. Have a good weekend, y'all. Be safe. It's getting cold now, so look, I got my sweater on and I'm indoors. So stay warm, stay safe, and I we will see you guys next time. All right, peace out.
Thank you, Tan.